Hello friends, it is so good to see you today. Welcome to my channel. Well, I love building and decorating in the game, and my main goal on this channel is to inspire you to decorate in your own valleys. Sometimes it's fun to take a little step away from the main objective and do something a little bit different. So that's exactly what we're doing in today's video. I'll be ranking all of the characters currently in the game. Now keep in mind, this is only my opinion and is all in good fun. Without further ado, let's get on with it. For this video, I will be using a tier list from tiermaker.com. If for some reason you're interested in doing your very own Disney Dreamlight Valley tier list, I will leave the link in the description box below. So first up, we have Anna. Now, I am not necessarily a huge Frozen fan, but Anna is one of the better characters in the Valley. She's always positive, she's always uplifting, and her vibe just really fits in the Valley so well. The interior of her and Kristoff's house is also one of my favorite of all of the characters in the game, so I think for these reasons, I will put Anna in the B category. Next up, we have Ariel. Now, I'll say right off the bat that she immediately loses points in my book because of how difficult she was to level up in the beginning of the game. Not only were we not able to hang out with her because apparently our Valley characters can't swim, but she was also notorious for puddle jumping, making it entirely too difficult to catch her to shower her with gifts. However, she did gain some points back once she gained her legs, and she's a very friendly character to have in the Valley. I also think it's really cool that we can switch her back to her mermaid form at any time we wish. But I do have to say that I rarely do this. I think that I'm gonna have to place Ariel in the B tier also. Our next Valley character is Buzz. Now, I honestly expected to like him a lot more than I do, and while he's pretty unproblematic in the Valley, he's quite boring. Other than the few times he's made me jump out of my seat with the comments he makes because I don't know he's there, I find him just boring and I rarely seek him out. However, I did really like his quests, so I think since I don't love him or hate him, I think Buzz will be our first character in the C tier. Donald is up next on the chopping block, and my comments about him echo many others in the community. He's annoying. There's absolutely no reason for a grown duck to be throwing himself on the ground in a tantrum, and we need to get someone in the Valley stat to provide anger management for him. I don't necessarily want to kick him out because I do like his house, so Donald is a solid D tier for me. I don't really have a lot to say about our next character, Elsa. Other than her fairly constant moaning and the bond she shares with Anna and her relationship with Olaf, there's really nothing that's very interesting about her. So I think Elsa is going to join Buzz in the C tier. Goofy is next on the list, and I have to admit I'm pretty biased on him. One time at Disney World, he and I shared a moment where we hip bumped while we were dancing during a show, and since then, he's had a very special place in my heart. Even with that aside, I find Goofy to be a pleasant character in my Valley. He often puts a smile on my face, and he's so helpful with his stall, his fishing, and his just general handiness. Goofy definitely belongs in the S tier. Next up, we have Kristoff. I find Kristoff to be a fairly pleasant character in the Valley. I've spent quite a bit of time with him as he is one of my gardening buddies, and now that he has iron in his stall, I find him to be a much more valuable character. But he's not quite S tier, so I think he's going to have to go in the A tier. Oh, Maui. There's a lot to say about Maui, and it's not very good. He's loud, he's obnoxious, he's conceited, he's huge, and he's always in the way posing and doing his silly little dances, thumping his chest, and pretending to surf. His house isn't even that good. Maui is definitely one I would be absolutely fine booting from the Valley, so he goes straight to the F tier. Merlin is up next, and while I don't have a ton of use for him this late in my gameplay, his role in the beginning of the game and telling the story of the Valley and getting the quest line started is definitely essential. I also think he's going to be getting additional roles in the future quests of the game, but even if he doesn't, I think he's already proven that he's a character in the Valley that we can't do without. And aside from that, I always chuckle when I catch him snoozing on a bench. He's definitely an S tier character in my Valley. Our next character, Mickey, is such a classic character that it's so hard to have anything bad to say about him. Not only that, but Mickey is one of my absolute favorite Disney characters. He's so much fun to run into the Valley, and I love the excitement that he brings. He's another S tier character for sure. While I do think Minnie is an essential part of the valley, and I loved her storyline in the beginning of the game, she's definitely done some things that make her lose some points. First of all, why did we need all of that clay for a clock tower that's barely taller than we are? Secondly, she took stop and smell the roses a little bit too seriously, and her constant sniffing can get quite annoying after a while. Third, Homegirl needs to find something to talk about other than her dates with Mickey. We get it, girl. You have yourself a man, but seriously, find a hobby. Minnie is going to go to the B tier. I have thoroughly enjoyed having Mirabelle around in my valley. I really like how upbeat she is, and her jokes about the night thorns always make me chuckle. I've also really enjoyed decorating her house. Mirabelle definitely belongs in the A tier. Moana is one of those characters that I think is so important in the valley. I really don't like fishing in the game, so having her boat in my valley has been great. Her house is also super cute, and I adore the items in her set. However, I don't see her as essential or useful as, say, Merlin or Goofy, so I think I'm going to place Moana in the A tier. Mother Gothel gets a lot of hate from the community, and I get it, but she is a villain after all. I personally don't have any strong opinions about her, so she's going to go in the C tier. Olaf is definitely one of my favorite characters, and his questline has my absolute favorite moment in the game when he gets his arms back. Just for that, he goes to the A tier. Eric is the next character on the list, and while I really enjoy the music from his flute throughout the valley, it irritates me so much that he left Max behind and then continues to talk about him in the valley. I'm really torn here, but I think I'm gonna have to put him in the C tier. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I don't like Remy. He's so hard to find when I need him, and if it weren't for the fact that I love his house and restaurant, I'd say boot him. So he's going to join Donald in the D tier. Up next is Scar, and in my opinion, he doesn't have a lot to offer the valley. He really likes to get in my way, and he has such a bad attitude. I think he's going to join Maui in the F tier. I honestly have a love-hate relationship with this next character. On one hand, I love his shop and the opportunity to add items to my inventory, but on the other hand, he sure has cost me a lot of money. Other than that, I don't really have a strong opinion about Scrooge, but since he runs the shop, he will go to the B tier. Stitch is one of my absolute favorite characters in the valley. I mean, he's adorable, he brought coffee, and he plays the ukulele. Plus, his questline was a lot of fun. However, he's not quite S tier for me, so I'm going to have to place Stitch in the A tier. In my opinion, our next character on the list is one of the most problematic in the valley. Other than a few condescending remarks here and there, she brings absolutely nothing of value unless you like chasing a giant octopus all over, which I don't, so I'd boot her if I could. So F tier for Ursula. Wally is up next, and I just have to say that I think he is one of the most adorable characters in the game. He brings a garden to us, which is somewhat useful, but I can buy seeds and plant crops on my own. But I love seeing him throughout the valley, and I really enjoy talking to him, so I'm going to put Wally in the A tier. The last character on our list is Woody. Now, I don't find him particularly useful, but his house is probably my favorite in the valley, and sometimes he really makes me laugh with some of the comments that he makes, and I do actually like him a little bit more than Buzz, so I'm going to put him in the B tier. That's all I had for you today, friends. While doing this, I learned that I don't have as strong of an opinion about the characters as I thought I would, though I definitely do have my favorites. Do you have a favorite character in the valley? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, friends, peace out.